All right, hi everyone. So for this video, it's actually not in the binder, it's in your notebook. Just take out your math notebook, find the next open page, and give it the title 1.3 video, equations with one fraction. And you can pause the video while you do that, and then when you are ready, we'll get going. So two quick warm-up problems here. And again, as you're taking notes on this, what you should do is copy each problem down. So you copy problem A down, 12 over 2 plus 8. And what this is looking at is order of operations. What's supposed to happen first? The first thing we would do is the division, 12 divided by 2. That would give us 6 plus 8, and 6 plus 8 is 14. So our simplification there is 14. Copy down B, 12 plus 8 over 2. This one, notice the fraction bar extends all the way for the 12 and the plus 8. And what that means is this is essentially like invisible grouping. There's parentheses there. We have to do the 12 plus 8 first before we divide. So we go 12 plus 8 is 20 divided by 2, and then 20 divided by 2 is 10. So notice the two different ways of doing this. If there's a big fraction, the stuff on top gets simplified first, and then we divide. If it's only one fraction with the plus 8 separate, that's where you do the division first and then add. So when you're ready, let's move down and copy these two equations down. So our next section here, we're solving each equation for x. And I want to think about those charts we did in our binder pages, right? So if we think about, if you pretend to be x, the first thing that happens to you would be, in this problem, by order of operations, we do the division first. We would divide by 4 for x, and then you get subtracted 3, and the result is 2. So if we're working backwards to solve, we would start at 2, and our inverse operation of minus 3 is plus 3. That's the first thing we would do to both sides. And then our inverse operation of dividing by 4 is times 4. And so if we think about what those equal, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 times 4 is 20, we would get x equals 20. Now, if we did this, so knowing that, we can do this algebraically by saying, okay, the first thing I should do to both sides here is add 3. That cancels out. It's x over 4 equals 5. And then we can multiply both sides by 4. We're going to inverse operation of division is multiplication. Those cancel out because 4 divided by 4 is 1. And we're left with x equals 20. Same answer. You can either way. You can do this either way. When we look at number 2 again, this one's different. If we follow our order of operations and figure out, okay, if I'm x, if I'm pretending to be x, what happens to me first? Just like we saw in that warm-up, if it's a big fraction bar, the stuff on top has to happen first. So the first thing that happens to x is subtracted by 3. And then it gets divided by 4, and the result is 2. So working our way back up from 2, this time the inverse operation that should go first is times 4. And then the inverse operation of minus 3 is plus 3. And so we can figure out, let's see, 2 times 4 gives us 8. 8 plus 3 gives us 11. And so the answer to this is x equals 11. So when we do this algebraically, I'm going to rewrite it here to have more room, because like we're unwrapping, going that reverse order of operations, and the x minus 3 is really grouped together, we have to undo that first by multiplying by 4. And that's the write it like that, the times and then the 4 there, times 4, and those two 4s cancel out. 4 divided by 4 cancels out, and we're left with x minus 3 equals 8, and then we can add the 3 to both sides, and we get x equals 11. All right, so I really want you to notice there's a difference between these two problems. If it's a fraction and then a separate plus or minus, that step goes first. But if it's a fraction where the plus or minus is on the top, then the multiplying has to come first. We have to free up the x minus 3 from the top. So one thing you could do if you want is pause the video and try out 3 and 4 on your own, and then hit play and kind of check your answer as you go, or you can watch along and do it with me right here. All right. So for these, I kind of like making this little sketch of the path, okay? X, the first thing that happens is it's getting divided by -2. Notice that negative in front. And then added by 1, and the result is 9. And so reversing that, we start at 9, we subtract 1, we multiply by -2, and that'll get us our answer. Let's see, 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 times -2 is -16. So we get x equals -16. And if we work through it algebraically, subtract 1 first from both sides, and that gets us -x over 2 equals 8. And then we have to multiply both sides by -2, right? I want to cancel out the negative, so I multiply by negative. I want to cancel out the 2. So that cancels and that cancels. Same thing to the right side. So we get x equals -16, same answer. Last one. Again, let's kind of follow the path of x. If you're the x, the very first thing that happens to you is you're multiplied by 3. Then you have 1 added to you. Then you're divided by 2. And that result is -4. Equals -4. So to reverse that, we start at -4 and times 2 and -1 and divide by 3, and we get our result. So let's see. -4 times 2 is -8. -8 take away 1 is -9. -9 divided by 3 is -3. So x equals -3. And we can do that the same way for this. Again, it's a fraction where the 3x plus 1 is stuck on top. So to multiply to both sides first to cancel out. There's our times 2, just like we did below. And we get the times 2 cancels out. So there's nothing else to do with that times 2. So we have 3x plus 1 equals -8. And now it's just kind of like a regular equation here. We subtract 1 from both sides. 3x equals -9. Divide away the 3. And we get x equals -3. Okay. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.